Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will take care of itself. These are the words Jesus Christ has used in today's gospel, and he is assuring us not to worry about our future. Now, brothers and sisters, does this mean that we don't have to plan for tomorrow? Does this mean that we do not have to plan for next week or next month or for next year? Should we just be sitting at home and waiting for the Lord to give us all that we need for our future? Well, this is something which is not very clear for us when we look at it in one glance. But when we look deeper into today's gospel, that is not the real case. Somehow, in our working place, we have strategies for the year ahead for our businesses. In our schools, we plan ahead for what to be teaching and what to be studying in the year ahead. And even at home, we plan how to progress ourselves. And in our personal life, we plan to progress in many areas of our life. But when Jesus Christ is saying not to worry, but to rely on himself, and when he is comparing that even the birds in the air and the flowers in the fields are clothed and dressed so beautifully, why should we worry about the future? He is not telling us about not having to plan, but rather when we plan, not to be leaving it to our own effort to take care of all our needs, but plan in such a way so that we will be submitting to God's will not only now and even in the future. The world today looks at planning from a different angle from a Christian view. The world today puts too much of attention and too much of focus on material goods and material things which we need to accumulate and keep for ourselves with the assumption that something will go wrong tomorrow and we will all be having nothing to live by tomorrow. That is the assumption that the world is taking. So people start to accumulate wealth. People start to accumulate money. People start to accumulate so many things to the extent that there is not even an element of sharing in their lives. They don't even want to share freely with others who are in need. Now, this is a situation which usually happens when we are no more putting our trust and our hope in God, but we are putting our trust and our hope in money, or in other words, material wealth, or anything at all that this world offers us in order to live by. So, dear brothers and sisters, that is the context with which we have to look into today's gospel. What motivates us to plan? Is it living a life worthy enough of God's call? Or is it living according to the standards of this world? Now, if we were only interested in living according to the standards of this world, then we will be moving ourselves towards material wealth. But if we are planning and we are hoping to live our life according to God's will, according to God's call, then the whole scenario changes. Yes, we have to plan. Yes, we need to have strategies. Yes, we need to put some things ahead of us and we need to understand how we are going to face them. But all this is done in faith in God. All this is done by trusting that God will show us a way to solve the many problems that lie ahead of us. So, our planning is a planning filled with trust. Our planning is a planning filled with submission to the Holy Spirit to help us to guide on what we are supposed to prepare ourselves with and what we are not supposed to prepare ourselves with, where we are supposed to be heading in the future. Now, all these things the Lord will provide to us if we seek for answers with Him, if we look to Him and we ask Him. So, in today's gospel, it is a message of the necessity for discernment when we are planning for our life, rather than a reliance on what the world and the standards of the world has to offer and teach us. Discern what the Spirit wants us to do in the future. So we don't have to worry because the Holy Spirit will always guide us and teach us what to do and what to plan. But while we don't worry, that doesn't mean we don't plan. We still have to plan for the future. And this planning is a planning filled with the power of discernment, the power of love, and the power of submission to God and His will for us in this world. So, brothers and sisters, let us take this advice given to us by God Himself, by Jesus Christ, and not worry too much about worldly things, not worry too much about money, not worry too much about how we are going to survive the next day, the next month, or the next year. But instead, let us plan on how to become holier, how to become more loving, how to become more charitable. And let us discern and listen to the voice of God speaking in our conscience, speaking through His word, and speaking through the church, and speaking through the promptings of the Holy Spirit, and take action according to His plans. So let us plan according to the power of the Holy Spirit and live according to the guidance of the Holy Spirit without worrying according to worldly standards. Thank you and God bless you.